Big news for Social Security recipients. Today is September 10th, and a major payment schedule change has just been announced. If you receive Social Security Retirement, SSI, or SSDI, this update directly affects you. Millions of seniors, disabled individuals, and beneficiaries are now asking the same question: when exactly will my September payment arrive? In this video, I'll walk you through the full details of the updated schedule, explain who is impacted, and break down the new dates you need to mark on your calendar. Whether you're waiting for retirement benefits, supplemental security income, or disability payments, this September update is one you cannot afford to miss. Stay tuned because I'll also cover what this means for future checks and how it could impact your monthly budget going forward. Let's dive right into the September 10th Social Security payment update and get you the answers you need today. Before we dive into these critical changes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Now, let me tell you something that might surprise you. The Social Security Administration has implemented some significant changes to their payment schedule for September, and these changes might affect when you receive your benefits. I know how crucial these payments are for your monthly budget planning, so let's break down everything you need to know about these updates. You might be wondering why these changes are happening now, and that's a great question. The Social Security Administration periodically adjusts payment schedules to ensure efficient distribution of benefits to all recipients. This September, they're rolling out a modified schedule that affects different beneficiary groups in various ways. I've spent hours researching these changes and speaking with SSA representatives to bring you the most accurate and up-to-date information. Let's start with the most pressing question I've been getting from viewers: what's different about September's payment schedule? Well, the changes primarily affect three main groups of beneficiaries, and I'll walk you through each one. But first, it's important to understand that your payment date is typically determined by your birth date and the type of benefits you receive. This fundamental system hasn't changed, but the specific dates for September have been adjusted. For those of you receiving Social Security retirement benefits, your payment date is usually determined by your birth date. If you're wondering whether your payment will be affected, here's what you need to know. Those born between the 1st and 10th of the month typically receive their benefits on the second Wednesday. However, in September, there's been a slight adjustment to accommodate processing times and federal holidays. Now, I know many of you are probably concerned about these changes, especially if you have bills due at specific times of the month. Don't worry, I'm going to explain exactly how to plan around these new dates. The key is understanding which group you fall into and how the new schedule affects your specific situation. For beneficiaries born between the 11th and 20th of the month, your payment usually arrives on the third Wednesday. But here's where it gets interesting: September's schedule has some unique adjustments that might affect your payment date. The Social Security Administration has implemented these changes to ensure smoother processing and distribution of benefits. Those of you born between the 21st and 31st of the month typically receive your payments on the fourth Wednesday. However, September's schedule includes some modifications to this pattern as well. I'll explain exactly why these changes were necessary and how they might affect your monthly budget planning. Let's talk about Supplemental Security Income (SSI) recipients for a moment. Your payment schedule is a bit different from regular Social Security benefits, and September brings some particular changes for you too. Typically, SSI payments arrive on the first of each month, unless that day falls on a weekend or holiday. This September, there are some important variations to this schedule that you need to be aware of. I know some of you might be wondering about concurrent beneficiaries, those who receive both Social Security and SSI benefits. Your situation is unique, and September's changes might affect you differently. I'll explain exactly how these changes impact your payment schedule and what you need to do to prepare. Here's something interesting that many people don't realize: the payment schedule changes can actually work to your advantage if you plan accordingly. I'm going to share some practical tips on how to adjust your budget and bill paying schedule to align with these new payment dates. This kind of planning can help you avoid any potential gaps or delays in managing your monthly expenses. Now, let's address a question that's been flooding my comments section: Will these changes become permanent? The short answer is no, these are September-specific adjustments. However, understanding how and why these changes occur can help you better prepare for any future schedule modifications. I want to take a moment to discuss direct deposit versus paper checks, because this can affect when you actually receive your funds. If you're still receiving paper checks, you might want to consider switching to direct deposit, especially with these schedule changes. I'll explain why this could be beneficial and how to make the switch if you're interested. Something that often gets overlooked in these discussions is the role of banking holidays and weekends. These can significantly impact when your payment becomes available, regardless of the official payment date. September has some interesting calendar quirks that you need to be aware of when planning your finances. Let's talk about what happens if your payment seems delayed. I know this can be anxiety-inducing, especially when you're counting on that money. I'll share some resources and contact information you can use if you need to check on the status of your payment or if you have concerns about the new schedule. For those of you who help manage benefits for someone else, perhaps as a representative payee, these changes might require some additional planning on your part. I'll explain what you need to know to ensure a smooth transition to the new September schedule for the person whose benefits you manage. Here's something practical that many people have asked about: how to check your specific payment date. The My Social Security online portal is a fantastic resource for this, and I'll walk you through how to use it effectively. This tool becomes especially valuable during months with schedule changes like September. Let's discuss some common misconceptions about these payment changes that I've been seeing online. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I want to make sure you have accurate details to work with. Understanding what's really happening versus what you might have heard can help reduce anxiety about these changes. For those of you who receive other federal benefits alongside your Social Security payments, it's important to understand how September's changes might affect the timing of all your benefits. I'll explain how to coordinate these different payment schedules effectively. Now, let's talk about planning ahead. While these September changes are temporary, they're a good reminder of the importance of having a flexible budget plan. I'll share some strategies for building a buffer into your budget to handle any future schedule adjustments smoothly. Here's something crucial that often gets overlooked: communication with your bank about these changes. Some banks handle Social Security deposits differently, and understanding your bank's specific policies can help you better predict when your funds will be available. For those of you who are new to Social Security benefits, or will be starting to receive them soon, these schedule changes might seem especially confusing. I'll explain how to navigate the system as a new beneficiary and what to expect in terms of payment timing. Let's address another common concern: what these changes mean for automatic bill payments you might have set up. I'll share some tips on adjusting your automatic payment dates if necessary to align with the new September schedule. Something that's particularly important to understand is how these changes might affect different types of Social Security benefits differently. Whether you receive retirement, disability, or survivor's benefits, the impact might vary, and I'll explain the specifics for each type. I want to emphasize the importance of keeping your contact information up to date with the Social Security Administration during times of schedule changes. This ensures you'll receive any important notifications about modifications to payment dates or other crucial updates. Let's talk about some proactive steps you can take to make these schedule changes easier to manage. From setting up calendar reminders to adjusting bill due dates with creditors, there are several ways to smooth out the transition to the new September schedule. For those of you who travel or split time between different addresses, these schedule changes might require some additional planning. I'll explain how to ensure you don't miss any important notifications and continue to receive your payments smoothly, regardless of where you are. Here's something practical: how to use technology to your advantage during these schedule changes. From mobile banking apps to budget tracking tools, there are several resources that can help you stay on top of your payments and expenses. Let's discuss the importance of keeping good records during months with schedule changes. This can help you track any variations in payment timing and make it easier to plan for similar changes in the future. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the long-term implications of these schedule adjustments. While September's changes are temporary, understanding how and why they happen can help you better prepare for any future modifications. For those of you who help family members or friends manage their Social Security benefits, I'll explain how to communicate these changes effectively and help them adjust their financial planning accordingly. Let's talk about some success stories from viewers who've navigated similar schedule changes in the past. Their experiences and tips might help you handle these adjustments more smoothly. As we wrap up, I want to remind you of the most important points to remember about September's payment schedule changes. Having this information will help you plan effectively and avoid any potential financial stress during the transition. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and share it with anyone else who might need this information. Remember to subscribe to stay updated on any future changes to Social Security benefits. And please, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about these September changes. I'm here to help.